Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, this is a really interesting and opinionated one I want to talk about. So, if you're sensitive and touchy about this topic, remember guys, I'm just one dude on the internet. This is just my opinion. Don't snap on me. Don't kill me. This is just, something I've been feeling for a long time and I want to discuss. And something I've been wanting to discuss for a long time. By the way, if you guys are interested in the game I am currently playing in the background, this is Trials of Mana on the Nintendo Switch. This is available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PC if you guys want to check it out. I just figure, some of you might be curious about the game, so I figured I would state the name of the game. I also put a link down in the description below where you guys can check it out. It's not sponsored by them or anything. It's just a really cool action RPG, and I figure, some people just may go ahead and be a little curious about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what I want to talk about in today's video. So back in March of 2017, one of my favorite consoles of all time launched, which is the Nintendo Switch. I don't do a billion videos on Switch games. I do a decent amount of them here on the channel. I did cover Skyforge on Nintendo Switch a decent amount. I try to keep, the channel mostly as MMO based as possible. However, the Nintendo Switch hasn't got a ton of MMORPGs on. I think it's got like 2 so far. There's so many ideas and so many different games I think that would work on Switch MMO wise, especially since the console uses mobile architecture. There's a ton of mobile games and different things I want to see done on Switch, and developers just don't seem to take advantage of that side of it. Everyone seems to be interested in, taking the big giant console and PC ports and shrinking them as tiny as they can and shoving them on the console instead of, putting a lot of the mobile games that we wish we could play on consoles on there. And, that's one thing I think a lot of even some of Nintendo's first party mobile games and third party developers should do, but a lot of them don't think about that for some reason. Like COD Mobile. Switch hasn't had a Call of Duty. I think COD Mobile would be a great fit for Nintendo Switch. I've stressed that a billion times. But however, because of the way the developers do things, they like to take these large games and just try and cram them onto the console. It's got the community screaming for one move that the last generation consoles did in the previous generation, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And that is, people are asking for a more powerful, a mid-generation refresh of the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch Pro. Is what people like to refer to it as. I'm pretty sure Nintendo would probably call it a new Switch, a Super Switch, or you guys know the cheesy names that they tend to come up with for all of their mid-gen and late-gen and all kinds of different gen upgrades that Nintendo does. Look how many iterations there were of the Nintendo DS and 3DS. Yeah, don't even get me started. Me personally, I don't agree with this route. And the one reason I think, the Nintendo Switch Pro would be a bad idea is because just look at the Wii U. They made a slightly more powerful Wii that segregated a player base off of an already successful console. And look what happened. Yeah, the Wii U was just, a slightly beefed up Wii with some more features. Now, if you took the Switch, which is already more successful than the Nintendo 64, than the Wii, I think the Switch is even close to honing in on like the PlayStation 2's records and stuff like that. Why would you want to split up that player base? Now, a lot of people are going to go ahead and say, well, we don't want the player base split. There can be a less powerful version of the game for people who want to play on the Switch, and there can be a more powerful version for the Switch Pro. And that's where I'm going to stop you and say that you're wrong. Because the next complaint that people will make is that the original Switch is holding the games back. You're going to tell me people aren't going to make that argument? People are making that argument right now with Xbox One and PlayStation 4 with the current gen consoles for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, there are people out there, who would gladly, just appreciate the fact that, there are both versions of the console, but a majority of people, especially, a lot of us content creators, a lot of hardcore gamers and stuff like that, they're going to go on a notion that the original Switch would hold the games back and they would want the new, more powerful Switch, to be Nintendo's base console. And Nintendo, wanting to listen to the community and everything, would probably be pressured into doing that eventually, which just wouldn't be smart for the Switch's current ecosystem. The Switch, the thing I think that the Nintendo Switch needs to do is the console needs to stick to what it's good at, for one. And number two, developers need to learn how to utilize the the console's hardware more. I'm going to give you guys an example here. This is a new trailer of a game called Bright Memory Infinite. Now, the developers of this trailer is a team called Farquaad Studio. Now, mind you, this studio is composed of one dude. This game was strictly a next-gen launch title for the Xbox Series X and S. This man was successfully able to put this on Nintendo Switch natively at 1080p and running at a solid frame rate. You don't believe me? Here, let's take a good look at the trailer, which also shows in-game gameplay running on a Nintendo Switch. Now, like I was going to say before, this isn't about, the Switch hardware being too weak. Now, granted, I know it uses a Tegra X1, which is aged a little bit by now. I do understand that. It is an older mobile chip. But when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, I really honestly think that a lot of people, just need to look at the factors of how things are done with this console. Number one, like I said, one big problem is people like to take these large, giant ports and just try and cram them and shrink them down on this thing. Instead of looking at things like mobile games that players really want to play on consoles or PC and trying to put those types of games on there. Me personally, if I was a developer, that's what I would do. I would look at a lot of these mobile shooters and MMOs and mobile like gacha RPGs and stuff like that. Like, why do y'all think one big reason Genshin Impact is trying to get itself on Nintendo Switch so bad? Why do you think that port has been in development for a long time? Because MiHoYo aren't stupid. They see that potential. They have a mobile game that runs great on mobile. Hell yeah, we're going to put it on Switch. It's doing great on one console right now. Imagine how it will be when there are two. Activision, they're sleeping on an opportunity. COD Mobile, that could easily be ported on Switch. That would also save them from creating a new COD game and shrinking it, downsizing it to fit on Switch every single year. Apex, they made a kind of silly mistake. They went ahead and got Apex Legends ported on Nintendo Switch when really they should have put Apex Mobile on Switch. I guarantee you players would have loved that because they would have had a console option to play the mobile version or they wanted. Or if they wanted to play regular Apex, just play it on a PS4 and Xbox One, Series X, S, PS5 or PC or whatever. But I'm just saying, guys, the Switch Pro route, I do understand. At the end of the day, games are getting bigger and bigger. People want more power, higher frames, better resolution. I get that. But to treat the Switch like, it's just this so behind console that, just can't keep up anymore when it's still wrecking in sales and, destroying every console out here right now, that's kind of silly. And I don't think a Switch Pro is what we need. I think a change of how developers and players approach the Nintendo Switch is what we need. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Anyway, y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like button. You disagree with me? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. We can have a good debate about it. That's fine. Nothing wrong with some good old chit-chat about gaming. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.